Hello again, everybody, and welcome to I Would Not, Could Not Run. It's a podcast for people who think they can't run and then have discovered or will discover that they can, because actually they're not too fat, they're not too big, they're not too lazy, they're not too old, they're not too any of these things which might get in your head when you think, shall I run? It's probably good for me. Well, news is it is good for you and you can run. End of story. We are two guys who can't be reasoned with, we can't be bargained with, we will absolutely not stop until the whole world is running. And I'm doing this with my partner who wrote that line, or didn't write that, he appropriated that line from Terminator 2, I think. Andrew Tudbury, the one and only. How are you, sir?
Hello, what an intro. Yeah, hi, hello everyone. I can't understand how you don't know that movie. So you're not a sci-fi guy then?
Not particularly. I mean, despite the fact that we're both IT nerds, I draw the line. But I did see Terminator 2 with Arthur Schwarzenegger, and that red eye thing. I thought it was very good.
Yes. Yeah.
He had pink eye.
There we are. And how are you? How are you doing, Oliver? How are you
very
doing this
good. It's been very nice. We've been seeing quite a lot of each other, which is always good, including, of course, the centrepiece of our week, which was the run through Regent's Park 10K and 5K. But we did the 10K, and as in the last two, I think, we ran together because I was trying to run as fast as I can, and you were trying to run as slow as you can because you've still got that bloody injury that is the bane of your running life and your actual life as well. But for me, I loved the 10K. It was a really lovely event. Regent's Park is so gorgeous. It was a nice number of people. Everyone supportive, obviously, which they normally are. No elbows. And it was great until the last kilometre when I had some kind of complete and utter physical breakdown, which caused me to sort of float in a kind of daze after over the line, which but manifested me getting, I think, 7 seconds under an hour for a 10K on my Strava, but that's not my official time. My official chip time was 1 hour, 1 minute, which is faster than before. But you left me for dead at about kilometre 8.5 because you started feeling a little bit better.
I was going to mention that. Yeah, I mean, I actually the night before, the kids said they wanted Domino's. I say kids, I mean they're grown up. But anyway, they wanted Domino's pizza, and I kind of know it's quite a heavy-duty meal at Domino's, and I got a bit of a weakness for pizza, so I thought it'll be fine. So I tracked down a large pepperoni, whatever it is, and it was a lot of bulk, and I was dehydrated all night. I must have woken about 3 times and must have drunk about 4 litres of water, and just really didn't feel very good the following day.
No,
I'm not sure. It's not just Domino's, it's lots of pizzas, you know. So note to self, keep the carbs light. So I'll do that. And then in terms of the run itself, I wanted to run at a medium pace for me, which was the pace that you're running at. And by the end, my foot was getting a little bit sore, and I was just getting a bit ratted by the whole thing. So I decided to run the last K fast at closer to my race pace, which is something around 5-minute kilometres, maybe a bit quicker. And my foot was really sore. So it wasn't a huge surprise, but so I think I do need to go a little bit back to the drawing board on this plantar fasciitis sort of base of the foot thing. It's better than it was 6 months ago, but I'm sort of kidding myself if I think it's gone. It's not gone.
No,
I'm going to have to work out another recovery plan. And anyway, so that's where we are.
I mean, it was always nice to run with you. You're a very nice running partner because you do keep my spirits up, and don't expect me to talk back like my wife does, in any sense of the word. But it was a shame to see you in a little bit of pain again. That is an absolute pain. But you were a great pacer. And I've got my old Garmin now, so shout out to Freddie, my mate, who gave me a Garmin for my birthday, which isn't even happened yet. And I love it. All the digital information stuff, and it kept me honest with regard pace until the last 9th kilometre.
They are amazing.
I felt like Atlas carrying the wheel. But anyway, it was good. It was a lovely event, a really, really lovely event. And my speedy wife broke her 50 minutes. at the age of 61. So she's now got a trainer, and the trainer's saying, we should look at you for regionals. It's a little bit like Glee, where you get to go to regionals, then state finals, then the nationals. But she's looking at regionals, which is exceedingly
That is amazing.
exciting. But yeah, but anyway, Andrew, you came up with this as you usually do.
Yeah.
Runcations. What a clever word. What's all that about?
Well, I did actually Google it because I wondered whether or not there was a word, and of course there is, because the internet is infinite, therefore everything's been thought of. So, I mean, the thing is, I thought after I'd been running for a while, as we all do, I sort of worked out that I could keep running and not beg for death. In fact, I was sort of enjoying running, in the process of running, and I could run along, look at the scenery, enjoy sights and smells. It was all quite nice, even relaxing. And then a holiday would arrive, and I would start to get a bit of anxiety about, I can't do my run. But then I was thinking, well, running isn't like cycling, skiing. We're pretty much born with whatever we need to run, which is feet. So at the bare minimum, you only need some reasonable running shoes, which can almost double as holiday shoes. And, it's obvious, really, So you don't need a bicycle, you don't need mountain snows, horses or anything like that. You just, you've almost got what you need to run. So I thought it would be a good thing to chat about. I think we might have touched on it before, but this idea of running tourism, runcations, where you go somewhere, you go on a little trip, and then you just build a run into that trip, and therefore you turn your vacation into a runcation. And if you're going somewhere amazing, it will only be more amazing if you run around it, and it's a brilliant way to see and experience more.
Yeah. No, I agree. When I started running, I had the same thing. Went to Madeira, I think, or somewhere like that. It was very hilly. And I remember thinking, I really want to keep up my running, or otherwise I'll lose all my fitness and have to start again from nothing, like snakes and ladders or something. But it isn't quite like that. But that's right. You find a way to inject a run into your travels, and it looks good on Strava because it looks like you've been travelled a little bit. And me and Louise went to Florida for a couple of weeks and incorporated runs, and I was worried because coming from Yorkshire, I don't really like the heat very much. It doesn't really work for me very well. However, just run slower, you idiot, is the answer to that. Just run slower and for less, and you still get the lovely benefit. And I found myself in Florida where it was, I don't know, it was in January, so it was only like 23 degrees or whatever. We were able to do 5k fairly easily, and it was part of my it was part of the holiday. You're right, and it's another way to see the place. And the other thing is park run, which we talk about often. Park run tourism is a thing, and I have a friend who's in the top 20 park run tourists, different locations cup. I don't think it's a cup. She's been to like 400 different park run locations.
Wow.
That's 400 different park run
That's
locations.
crazy.
And I've been to a couple with her and her partner Marco, whom I went to university with. And it's fun. It's really fun to see A, different areas, and B, the spirit of park run is alive and well wherever you go. And it's just loads of gorgeous people helping other people.
Yeah, we've
do
had
their
some
run.
previous guests, haven't we, who've been doing park run. I think our friend Rob Price, who a few weeks back
Yes.
was doing some park run tourism before he had his Achilles problem.
Yeah.
And
Injuries
I was just
again.
thinking back. Sorry, go on.
No, I just said injuries. It was like a pointless interjection, an editable interjection.
Okay, yeah, good. I was just thinking about my first runcation, which was quite an inspiring one, actually. We were visiting some mates in Berkeley in California, and we decided that we were going to run. So we had packed our running gear, which was quite impressive, actually, because we had cabin bags for a 3-week stay, no hold gear, and we managed to fit our running gear in the cabin bags. Yeah,
Again, it's not the biggest
because we
clothing,
were
is it, normally?
because we were just wearing the running shoes, so those were our shoes. So we ran around Tilden Park, which runs down the back of Berkeley. We set a 2.5k out, 2.5k back, and we just ran along down this beautiful piece of countryside with amazing smells, different smells to the UK. It's all strange pine and eucalyptus smell.
Oh God, it's gorgeous! I've just seen
Yeah,
it.
it smells very specific, doesn't it? So we sort of cease to feel like tourists, and there's something that really embeds you in the environment when you're a runner. And people passing you sort of, I think they assume that you're just from the area. If you're a runner, you cease to be a tourist and you become part of the running locals, if you like.
Well, in Miami it's a bit different because you definitely don't. Well, no, there's still some old chubby people. Actually, I was about to say you don't fit in with all the beautiful. I didn't fit in with all the beautiful people, but actually, everyone's allowed. To be fair, everyone's allowed to run in Miami. You can be any age, any shape, and it's. You're right, and you just feel part of the place. Wow, that looks well. I've just looked at Tilden Park. I recommend looking at it. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, shall we?
Yeah.
I suppose we better
Definitely.
move on. We don't want to waste a single second of our guest's time, do we? Should we? About time to welcome our new friend. Well, he's not a new friend for me. This is a man I've known since 1988. Was when I met this guy actually. So that's it's going to be touching on 40 years. Yeah, and we actually shared a home in a very innocent way for a while, and we wrote and performed on stage and off. Troy Dale, and we found out recently that Troy's a runner as well. So he's his story to tell. So we thought, well, he's one of the most eloquent communicators I know. So we definitely podcast is going to be his medium. And I'm surprised, given his executive positions that he's had in the pharmaceutical industry, that he's never been on a podcast before. He just seems absolutely, fodder for that Steve. What's he called? Steve Bartlett guy. Anyway, he's not. So this is his first. Intrepid run into the world of podcasting. But Troy, my old friend, you look beautiful. And how are you? Nice to have you on the pod.
I'm both flattered and honoured to have been invited. I think I'll treat it as a LinkedIn invitation. I'm humbled. I'm humbled to be
so pleased.
Invited on.
You're so pleased. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you very much for getting for inviting me. I've been following your various podcast forays for quite some time, and I was overjoyed when you started doing one about running, because I'm also a bit of a can't run, won't run. Oh, look, I can run person. So it's I'm very, very pleased to have been invited here.
Yeah. So I mean, just to rewind a bit, I mean, I'm not sure if Oliver knows your story, but I mean, so some people we have on the podcast are just wiry gazelle people, and some of them are cart horsey, more like me and Oliver. So what's your running history then? Have you always been a runner? Were you a runner at school? How did you get introduced to sort of fitness and exercise?
It's strange. Since we talked about doing this, I've been giving it a lot of thought, and I realised there was a couple of times in my life. Well, no, to answer your question more bluntly, I was kind of I played a lot of rugby at school, and I was the chubby kid that played front row in the pack for a long time as the hooker in my school rugby team, and then I grew quite late in my life, and all of a sudden I went back after a summer holidays, and I was far too big to play in my previous positions, and then got kind of moved back in the pack until I was playing flanker, which fitted with my aggressive tendencies at the time. But I was never fast enough to play in the backs or the wing. So I kind of drifted away from sport. I played a little bit at university. I played lacrosse, where I could again indulge a kind of an aggressive streak. But I was never really a massive runner. I arrived at university having spent kind of the 2 summers before that running. But most of this was much more about kind of being angsty and pubescent and finding something that you could be on your own doing that wasn't basically smoking cigarettes and kind of walking around moodily in a park. And running around moodily in a park was a much better way of doing it. And I think you mentioned in the intro about kind of feeling part of your surroundings. And I think there's something about running that is very liberating, because it's something that you can almost let your body do on its own, whilst the rest of your mind thinks about other things and engages with its surroundings. In a way, it's a little bit, you can almost do this on a motorbike. This is why I much prefer motorcycling or cycling to driving a car, because you can you can smell and you can hear and you can feel wind.
Definitely.
And I've
yes,
obviously
yeah.
just talked far too much for one.
So,
One
so
blast.
the lacrosse didn't make it. So I just wondered whether you had been to a private girls' school with all this talk of lacrosse.
It's interesting. There is a cultural divide around Nottingham for lacrosse. Anyone south of Nottingham that plays lacrosse is usually a posh girl with a name like Felicia or Horatia. And anyone north of that line who plays it is usually a very thuggish Mancunian who either plays for a pit team or for one of the Manchester grammar schools.
Gosh, okay, I didn't know that.
So yeah, some of the most brutal beatings I've received in my life have been at the end of some shovel-faced gentleman from Crewe and Alsager.
Fun fact about
'cause-
Manchester Grammar, by the way, and you can look this up on the internet, because I went to Bradford Grammar, so we hated Manchester Grammar and lost to them at rugby all the time. I wasn't taking part unless there was a sixth team out. They used to swim naked at Manchester Grammar up until the early 70s. The boys used to swim sans pantalon. Sans pantalon.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be mistaken about lacrosse because it sounds French and therefore soft, like croquet. But no, you're right, Troy. You get some right hard bastards playing it.
hard as nails. And any opportunity that a working class Mancunian gets to batter the shit out of
with a piece of wood in their hand, yeah.
A student with a piece of wood,
yeah,
is very quickly taken up.
Sounds a bit like hockey, which is nothing much to do with jolly hockey sticks, and it's just a vicious game for lunatics. Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Unlike running.
Oh.
Unlike
No, sure, yeah. Thanks for getting us back on track there, Oliver. We were about to go off on some kind of, yeah. So, had you? So it sounds as though running came a bit later then, Troy.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a lot of memories that were associated with running. I also had asthma as a kid, so I mean, one of the things that liberated me, and this is what kind of drove me into my career in the pharmaceutical industry to a certain extent. One thing that liberated me was like the invention of asthma inhalers.
Yeah, me too. I've got the same thing.
Enhancing drugs. So it made a massive difference to my ability to run. So it's once you can actually physically break through that kind of like wheezy, tight chestedness, it's quite a liberating experience. And I think that being older, though, kind of the appification of running and the C to 5K or the C to 10K, little known fact, if you think you're going to enjoy running, you may as well just start doing C to 10K because it's the same as C to 5K without an annoying bit of fatiguing repetition in the middle. That really changed kind of motivation for me as a re-fledgling runner.
Yeah, I'm not sure I knew there was a couch to 10K, but it makes.
Makes sense. I think it's
Well, you
a
can have that
half
on me.
marathon one. Is there a half marathon one as well, Troy? I don't know. I think
There
my
is
friend
as
might
well,
have done that.
although I've never used it.
No. I'm still struggling with the 10K. I'm supposed to do a 10K after this because I said I want to be faster at 10K. And their runner, this is the app I use to do my plans, and the bloody thing said, just run 10K then.
Just
a
tiny
good bit,
story
good bit of
about
AI.
me. I've just got a little memory which popped into my head about asthma and running. And I was 14 years old or something at school, and I was towards the back of the pack, as I always was when I was running. And I passed this guy, and he had this plastic inhaler thing that he's putting in his mouth. And I just had a flash, and I thought, I bet that's something to do with asthma. So I asked him, I said, what is that blue thing? And what are you doing with it? And I said, oh, this is for my asthma. I said, do you mind if I have a go on that?
Oh, yeah.
And so I had a go, and suddenly the wheeze are gone, and I felt amazing. And I remember, picking up my skirts and taking off. So that was the first time. I think before that I was on those dreadful spinhaler things, and I hated them and never took them. Where you get to
glycate. What
get to breathe dust.
That was. Yeah.
Awful stuff. Sorry, I just thought I would drop that in.
That's quite good. Yeah. I mean,
that fat kid at the back with the blue inhaler may actually have been me, but I would have remembered you wearing skirts, I think.
Yeah, I mean they were more like a running gown, I think. Gold lame.
Nice.
I never had any of those
Like gay
problems.
Gandalf.
Can we now
Yes,
say that? Probably.
that's what they called me at school, actually.
Before Gandalf was invented. It was quite a forward-thinking school. I never had any excuse not to run. I wasn't even fat as a kid. I was skinny. Skinny as a rake. Didn't have
very
asthma.
skinny.
Yeah, no excuse except I was bone idle, as my father would say. Bone idle, Oliver. But yeah. Let's see. It's
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah. So maybe we come up to the point where you started to integrate running into your life a bit more, Troy. So how did that happen? So you must have. Did something tip you over, or was it a weight thing, or a health thing, or what got you going?
That's a really good question. I've always used it as a therapeutic, actually. Whenever I've had kind of like traumatic times in my life, generally, I've started running again. And I find it very, very good for dealing with problems, dealing with kind of when you need time to think, because it really is one of those things that you can kind of fall into and have a positive thinking experience almost. I mean, it's a bit miserable whilst you're running when you're kind of ramping up, but it's immersive, and I think that's every cycle I've been through. It's been through kind of an immersive cycle to deal with something, and then it becomes a pleasurable experience.
It's funny you say immersive. We've used that. Yeah, it does help because I know exactly what you mean. You're immersed. My problem remains because I'm not as far along my journey as you guys. Is it remains very uncomfortable most of the time. So I like thinking like you, Troy. When I've got a bit of a problem, or I'm sick of people, or I'm underperforming, or I'm being a terrible person, I like to sort of decouple from the world.
Yeah.
Every now and again. It's when I'm
So
doing
do you
10
run
Ks
twice
now,
a day
rather
then,
than
Oliver?
5Ks. Yeah. I've been doing, runner says maybe do a marathon every day, you loser. I still can't disconnect completely from the pain, the discomfort, actually, to actually do philosophy, which I love. And if I was on a walk, I'd do philosophy. I'd almost talk to myself about philosophy. I haven't got to that point with running. Listening to you two, it feels like there's a chance I will one day, because you both have got to that, should we say, transcendent stage with running, which I still struggle with.
It's funny you say transcendent. I think there is a moment when all of a sudden you realise you're doing it and you didn't realise you were doing it. It's like that Douglas Adams quote about flying, being throwing yourself at the ground and missing. It's like all of a sudden you're kind of like you're running and you don't realise how far you've run. There was a gorgeous one that my dear lady wife and I did many years ago. Actually, not that many years ago, probably about 8 years ago. We were running together, and we basically ran the best part of 10K. And we'd done a really, really big loop around where we lived. And we both kind of looked at each other as we were running down the road back to the house. And we didn't even really discuss it, but we just both carried on. And we did like another 3 or 4K. And this sounds like a bit of a flex, but it isn't. We did another 3 or 4K. She survived this much better than I did because I got brutal cramps after about 12K. But it was just all of a sudden we were in a bit of a groove. We'd done a really interesting run that we hadn't done before. And I think that also helps because you're spending more time like on slippery trails, looking at where you're putting your feet, not really worrying about stuff. And we were just kind of fresh all of a sudden and carried on.
Yeah.
Compression socks, though, this was my discovery of about 3 years ago. Like long compression socks, yes, you look a bit of a wanker.
No, that's okay.
But if you're a gentleman, as I know you are, who is cursed with the poor genetics of skinny calves,
Correct.
they do take away a lot of lower leg pain.
Right. I haven't had lower leg pain, but I did have some. It felt like, oh God, what are those things that connect muscle to bone? Anyway,
Tendons or
That's
ligaments.
what
It's always one or the other. Yeah.
Tendons. And I did put a compression sock on, and I looked a knob, and I thought I like that because it makes it look like a runner, so it's honestly fine, and that worked. that really works. So yes, I'm with you. Yes, I hear you. The that thing that you were doing with your missus sounds fantastic. I've got in the zone that I think you're talking about literally only twice in my life, I think, which and I'm really, really looking forward to it happening again. And I am I'm gonna be patient for that to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's
One
lovely.
thing that's interesting is about whether or not there's a debate that rages. I think it was covered quite a lot in one of the Born to Run books, maybe the second one, about whether or not to listen to music or not. And I kind of have, because I always tend to just stick music on, just a habit. But I think that does actually take you away from the running and the being in the moment and the being with the trees and the bees and everything else. So I wonder whether I might experiment more with just running in silence and just experiencing that a bit more.
Use that overused phrase "raw dogging," which
Yeah,
seems
it's
to
used
have-
for everything these days.
You can also get free metronome apps for your iPhone.
You can, yeah.
I know that sounds dull, and I have tried it.
No, I've heard of
It's-
that.
I-
This is the 180 BPM thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Who the hell would
yeah.
charge for a metronome? Who would charge? What kind of piece of capitalist scum would charge for a metronome? Anyway,
Elon
sorry,
Musk
that's
has entered the chat. I don't know.
$1 a beep. Oh, honestly, it's anyway. Sorry, carry on. That's quite a good idea. I think Runner or Strava comes with the metronome. Actually, no. I think Garmin comes. I think I've mentioned every brand now.
Yeah,
Garmin comes with the metronome. It comes with the metronome.
Although I've got over the ear headphones, so I've got kind of open ear headphones rather than the
Yeah,
in the ear headphones, which I find much better for running. Much better because
I've
I
got the
don't hear
bony
my foot
ones.
strikes. Yeah, the bone conduction ones.
Oh yeah, I've got those. Over
And
here.
it's having your ears plugged and hearing your own foot strikes really like shakes me a little bit. Can't do it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was running with in-ear earphones, and then I swapped to the open runs about 6 months ago, and it makes everything open up quite nicely.
Obviously, if Shocks want to sponsor the podcast, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Shocks are great customer service too. Shocks for your ears. I think I should do it, shouldn't it? Surely. Shocks.
Drop a link. Drop a link.
for your bloody ears. I was thinking, did you talking about you two being slightly ahead of me? I think, and getting to this sort of hey, I'm running kind of thing, and hey, I'm doing other things with my mind. Have you got to the stage yet? And I haven't got to the stage either, where you're thinking, oh, that wasn't so good. I wasn't very fast today. Whereas actually, that's not the point. The point is, I did a run today, and that's kind of awesome. I'm still chasing times PBs because my improvement has been so great, because my baseline was so poor that I now have this thing where, particularly on the 10K at the weekend, Andrew, I was sort of disappointed that I completely broke down at the end, whereas actually I should much more concentrate on just doing a run, being a runner, doing 10K, and that's what I've done, and I'm just like cleaning my teeth or washing the car. It's just what I do. I haven't got there yet. I don't know if you've...
I think it's okay to feel both. I think it's okay to feel both. I think you chase a little bit of a PB, and there's a little you feel a little slight as you realise the target has disappeared off over the horizon, and then you shrug and then think, yeah, but I did a 10K. I probably think both. Troy's probably got the same experience. There are ups and downs with the running, and I remember plateauing for quite a long time. And what I noticed was that I would be running along at a usual rate, and I'd say, oh, my heart rate's very high, and that would be an indication of if I was feeling bad. So if I'd been out on the beers, or if I'd eaten wrongly or hadn't slept, my heart rate would be abnormally high. Sometimes it would be too low, and I couldn't get my body going, actually. But I would use the Garmin to view when my heart rate was right, and sometimes you just have to say, my body just doesn't want to do it today, and that's okay, and I'm just going to slow everything down.
Interesting fact for anyone flexing on you in the pub about their fantastic resting heart rate. It is one of the only broadly correlated biological phenomenon that you can map to domestic violence. So anyone that's telling you that they have this fantastic resting heart rate of like, well, my resting heart rate's 56, no, they're probably smacking their wife around.
Oh my word! Controversial and unprovable and suable. Damn it! We just
No,
put a bit of money out of shops.
absolutely provable. There is hard science behind this. I told you I've fallen into a bit of a strange rabbit hole since last we spoke, and this is one of the things that came out of it.
Does make you wonder how the correlation was found.
Well, I think it correlates to Stella Artois, doesn't it? Because that brings your heart rate down.
It brings your heart rate. Have you noticed when you can't get your heart started, Andrew? You'd been drinking Stella Artois the night before.
Yeah, you see, that would have been when I put down 12 tinnies. Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah.
Good Lord, that's amazing. Well, hang on. When you say resting heart rate, I mean mine's like 55 or 60. Is that? I mean, I couldn't fight Louise and hope to win, but is that about? Is that okay, or is that?
It's lower. I mean, it's people that with like when you say resting heart rate, this is you sort of like wandering around the house, which is normally that's people are like 65 and 70. But if yours is like way under 60, you're a bit you're correlated with violent crime.
Wow, violent crime in the broader sense. Gosh, I suppose that mine's quite high, which is how I'm so chill. So what's your routine at the moment, Troy? What are you doing? What miles are put on the clock?
I'm in the sawtooth of running C to 10K and then going 10K to C. So I'm back doing my build up to 10K. I've got a bit of a gripey knee at the moment, which is not helping at all. But I am doing sort of 4 or 5Ks on that build up at the moment. I realised as well though that I am in desperate need of a new pair of running shoes because my old ones are looking really sad, and I hadn't noticed until I started wearing them out, which is nice because I do like a little bit of kit shopping.
You do.
But I've also found I'm very stable with my. I'm very brand loyal, so I'm a Brooks Ghost man, and I really enjoy wearing them.
There's loads of those around. They look lovely.
Very comfortable.
Do you know how I found out my running shoes were wearing out? It's really weird. I took off my running shoes, and there was a bruise on my the right hand side of my right foot, my right foot side of my right foot, and it was a bruise going through the entire foot, and it was painful but not agony. And I was like, that's really weird. And then I looked on the underside of my shoes, and on the right side where that bruise was completely worn down. So I'd been battering that, tap, 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 tap over the 5 or 10K, and it caused a bruise which pretty much went through the whole foot. So
you're supinating then. You're running on the edge of your foot, which
must have
is...
been. And so I changed my shoes, unusual. And it recovered in about 2 runs. It was extraordinary. That little tiny sort of probably fraction of a millimetre of rubber had worn out, and it was battering my toe to the point of bruisure. And I'm brand loyal. Well, I've been running 2 years, but what is it I have that you recommend me?
You got Ultras.
That's it, the Falls. Ultra Falls. Escalante.
Escalante. It was a lovely zero drop, sort of medium support, flat shoe for So it's the anti. The antidote to the high support, high bounce, ultra tech shoes that you get from some manufacturers, and that leads back to the whole.
What colour are they?
Grey. I got black the first time, and I've gone grey. I'm looking for orange, my favourite colour, but they didn't have any actually. So everything else is orange, but not my shoes. But good question. Well, I suppose I should ask what colour are yours, Troy? Your Brooks?
Because they're blue and orange.
Yeah, I think I've seen
but they're worn out now. I mean, it's like I desperately. I have to go to London for a friend's birthday. Sure. I may be visiting a shop. If there is even a runner's shop actually in London. Last time I tried to find somewhere, it was.
You must be joking.
No, I mean,
Run and Become.
They also.
Run and Become is the place.
I'm glad you said that again because I wasn't sure what I heard the first time.
I thought that was like some sort of motivational phrase.
That's a special runcation.
Yeah, no, it's orgasmic. It's just a great place. There we go. So, what are your plans? Right, are you a steadfast?
I would say actually, when I was interested to listen to Andrew talk about his Runcations because I used to travel a lot for work, and I would always, when I was kind of on a real upswing running kick, take my kit with me. And some of although I would argue that it's not that you can't, you don't really have to take very much with you, because I always find I run best first thing in the morning. So I'm talking like 5 a.m.,
Oh, wow,
5:30.
Ooh,
I get up early and I
reason
run
for that.
early, and I find that I'm empty stomach running. I never load. I never do anything. I run
Yeah.
much better when I'm depleted in carbs, probably. But I've had some fantastic runs kind of along the Charles, in Boston, in Paris, all around La Défense. I've run
Oh, yeah, I
in
know that.
San Francisco, from the Fairmont on top of the hill all the way
Yeah.
down to the Embarcadero. You got Mexico City. All that was a bit hairy. Just running in a new area, running in a new city is such a rush, especially if you can kind of Strava it and find a decent run at your level.
Definitely,
And
yeah.
kind of
Someone
like
else has
pound
made
that
a
out.
route. Yeah, I mean, how do you deal with the heat? I mean, often we tend to go to places where it's hotter because it's so freezing in England, but I don't like it when it's cold. But running at 10 degrees is actually really nice, because obviously you heat up quick, and then you're not going to overheat.
Like I said, I run early, so I mean the heat is limited at like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. Quite the opposite, actually, when I used to run in Switzerland around kind of where I was living. And this was a COVID discovery, that if you wear a mask, or if I wear a mask when I run in cold weather, I don't get the cold weather wheezes. That was a real problem for me. But I don't. I'm much more affected by hot running than I am cold running, and I just do.
God, yeah.
I'd rather not run if it's too hot. And I will just find a reason not to, or run when it's raining, or run when it's put it off by a day and wait for a break.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, can you just
I
plod
remember.
at like eight minutes a kilometre, and just plod with one foot in front of the other with that big hat on? Just to, I think I like saying I've done it. I mean, I did this run in France, and I've got a photo of me, and it looks like I should be put on a drip immediately, because it was like 35 degrees or whatever. But it was still an experience that I'm sort of glad I did, because it was kind of fun. And it was French people looking at me going, "Mon Dieu."
Should be from the police.
Yeah.
Presque mort, ce Rospiff.
Monsieur Rouge, Monsieur la Rouge visage, le visage de rouge, Monsieur, which
Monsieur le Betrave.
I don't know what that means. What was betterave? Beetroot.
Beetroot.
Ah, your French is amazing. To know
Why?
betterave. Ah, very good. So what else? Yeah, there was something else. Oh,
I was
yeah,
just
we
going to
were
mention a little.
Sorry, Andrew. Yeah, you had something.
There was just. I might have mentioned this on the podcast before, but just to do with holidays and running. So we went to Gozo, which is a Maltese island, a beautiful little Maltese island, very quiet and stunning. Took our running gear, but the whole family came down with COVID the day we arrived on the holiday. And I was quite cross with this. I think we were all a bit cross in the family, and we spent sort of 10 days socially distancing and having takeaways, and feeling very hot. But I thought, sod this, I'm just going to go for a run. So I got up.
Hot run. Oof.
Yeah, it was a hot run.
This is not in any way recommended, dear listeners.
This is not.
indeed.
No. Please don't try
doctors.
this.
In fact,
Please
we're
don't
not
try
even
this.
sensible.
Please don't try this at home. So I got up at 7:00 and got in the shower, soaked myself down, and just went for a slow run. And I was just doing a let's just see how it goes. And if I started feeling terrible, obviously I would stop. And I was just borderline into having a temperature. So it wasn't like I had a temperature of 102 or anything. It was a mild temperature.
For those watching for those listening and not on video,
5K.
Troy's looking like a wise old GP going, you really think you should be doing...
No.
And then,
Are you
sorry,
sure
Andrew,
you
I
wanted
interrupted.
to do that?
Yeah. Sorry, Andrew, interrupted.
And well, I live to tell the tale. And again, I don't know whether there was a bit of bragging rights. I had COVID, and I just did a 5K. I don't know if there's a bit of that, but I don't know whether it also helped me sweat away some of the illness. I mean, I felt actually significantly better when I got back. I felt tired, but yeah. So Runcations while diseased. I
Sweat
think
out
maybe
the
that's-
disease. Did you sweat out the evil spirits then, you think, Andrew?
Do you think you
Somebody-
exuded
somebody
the appropriate
trepanned me.
humours?
Yeah, exactly. Did you come back covered in leeches? I remember we had to bleed you last time you had a cold, and that seemed to help.
Yeah, there was that. Yeah, and somebody trepanned my head as well. I seem to remember the
No,
halfway
I know
through.
what you mean. I think that's good. Good on you. Good on you for doing
Yeah.
that and
Yeah,
not dying. Why not? I mean, people go in saunas, don't they? People, Swedes and all that lot. That's supposed to be quite good. Getting very
Yeah,
hot.
yeah.
I don't know. We are not experts, but we do like shocks. Shocks for your ears. So that was good.
He's pursuing this doggedly.
Yeah, I know. I haven't got anything to lose.
Have you got any plans for Troy for your running this? So are you going to do an ultra, or is there a place that you want to run up a volcano or something? Or
No, I know too many people that do like that are proper ultra mental, and I don't see. And this is like this. A lot of people as well I know that have got to like, well, I'm 55 or I'm 60 now. I must run a marathon. Oh no!
oh, it's a
why
bucket
must
list. Oh yes.
It's like these kind of things are. I mean, humans are really interesting because we are space orcs, and I think there's some really interesting stuff that came out from a group in Berkeley that humans are the only animal that remodels its damaged joints whilst moving. And this
Don't
what- this
lobsters
is
do
what-
that?
Yeah, I heard about that.
No,
Yeah.
lobsters.
Don't do that.
No, lobsters pop when they need to grow or remodel.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I was confusing.
I think
with
that's
the-
all Oliver doing that.
And they did this on ultra runners. In fact, they made them have MRI scans at different stages in strenuous activity, and like the human. This is why humans, I think, were successful as exhaustion predators back in prehistory. But I really don't see the necessity. For me, the running is. I get the disappointment about not hitting personal bests, and the whole kind of like PB thing is, I think, slightly toxic to the casual runner.
Yeah, I
because
think so.
the fact that, as you said, the fact you've got your kit on, and you've left the house, and you've come back alive is an achievement. Wasn't that was that Lance Armstrong quote about the hardest thing about a training ride is strapping your shoes on, and given the amount of drugs he took, I wouldn't be able to strap my shoes on.
I'll tell you what, I'd rather do that than exchange my blood with someone else. Surely
Yes,
that's the hardest bit,
accidentally.
Lance. Yeah, isn't that the hardest bit actually?
The hardest bit is taking all of those untested drugs before the Olympic Committee has designed an appropriate study for them.
which might or might not have happened.
Allegedly. No, I think he agreed. He admitted that it had happened. I mean, but he may be the only person in the world where testicular cancer worked in his favour because he had to take testosterone. But moving swiftly on.
If any of our listeners have
got no
friends who've
desire to punish
benefited from
myself.
having testicular cancer, please do get in touch. I'd be fascinated. You can join Lance Armstrong in the Testicular Cancer for Me very small club. Sorry. Troy.
So no, I've got no desire to ultra, but I do have a desire to continue running because I think it's just one of those. It's just one of those fun things that you can do. It's almost like a
life
favour
skill.
you can do yourself.
I agree, and I think that what would suit me was to be still running at a ridiculous age, really slowly, and everyone going, "Gosh, isn't he amazing?" Running I wouldn't do a marathon. I'm exactly like you. He did a 5K in a day. What a lovely old fella! And you're like 93, going, "This is a piece of piss."
Back of the park run pack, but being
It's so
overtaken
easy.
by
I'm just
toddlers.
like the only one who'd be stupid enough to do it at my age. I'm totally with you. Doing your body.
So there's a
favour.
question. There's a question we always ask our guests, and I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So, do you identify with run to live or live to run? So, run to live, implies that sort of more for the healthier life, and live to run. It's your identity, and it's sort of baked in as a hardcore thing. That
No, I have. There's many other things that define my identity. Although my wife has started referring to people as being Troyed in the past. So I'll, obviously this has to be. No, I run to live. I do it.
Yeah.
I do it because I enjoy it, and I do it because it gives me pleasure and probably peace. Actually, that's the thing. It gives me a sort of a sense of stillness that I don't get from many other things.
It's come up a lot over the 13 episodes, hasn't it? That
Has
yes,
indeed. It's
yeah,
good. That's
yeah.
beautifully summarised, actually, Troy. I think you're quite right. You know you've done yourself a favour physically. Great expression. You've done yourself a favour mentally as well. And being a non-sporty person like me, that was utterly novel. I was terrible at sport. Didn't really like it. I liked keeping score. That's what I like. Being the scorer was always my thing. And to have done a proper workout, a 5K in 30 minutes. Completely new feeling to me, and that made me feel great. I mean, I respect my body. I love my body. I'm doing good things for my body, and that felt absolutely amazing, and still does actually. That still goes ahead. Yeah. What about you, Andrew? Are you
What, in terms
resonating
of,
with this?
plans? Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking that yes, I could see how I could, because there's part of me that does get quite deeply into hobbies and things, and I can see how I could slip into the sort of live to run thing, and it could become part of my identity in a way that might could become less healthy. So, but I more naturally want to fit running into my life. It's just something that I do, and it's a brilliant thing, and it just makes me feel great. And the other thing I wanted just to post in here is the idea of having a runcation at home. So almost like a micro holiday, And so sometimes Rachel and me, my wife, we would do a little run, and we would run around the local town of St Albans, which is quite a pretty place, and we would come back and we say, you know what, it's like we've just gone on a little holiday. And we've just done our 10k, and we run through little alleyways and parks, and we've seen the cathedral, and we've run through churchyards and through playing fields, and it was an hour had gone by, and we'd taken ourselves out of our maybe stodgy way of thinking. We've been working or something. Wonderful. Yeah, so don't forget micro holidays as well as runcations where you're running in Turin or somewhere.
I think the two of you actually have a lot in common thinking about it now, although I've met you both in very different contexts, in that you go all in your hobbies, which is very nice.
Yes.
And then I can sort of, on the piggyback on that, because I can't be asked, so learn from your knowledge. And you both do that, which means there's space, though, for other things as well. In your life as well. So, which I think is a very positive way, particularly as we get a little bit older, to live your life, is to still jump into things 100%, because it'll keep you young, fit and sexy. And it certainly has in your cases, may I say. Wonderful.
I didn't expect we'd end it on such a homoerotic note, but I
neither
appreciate
did I.
it.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
I didn't see the eroticism. Oh, yes, the sexy bit. Yeah. Well, I had the pleasure of seeing Andrew's legs again on Saturday, and me and several of the ladies and several of the gentlemen were massively impressed. And that's another thing. You've got a bit of a permatan, natural permatan from running all the time on your magnificent sculpted legs.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say that. Other people to notice. I wouldn't say that myself, but I was. We were going for a family walk, and it looked like it might be a bit showery. This was yesterday, and I put on my waterproof overshorts,
Right.
which I didn't even know were a thing. But I thought, I've got to have those. And Rachel looked at me and said, "You're not going out in those. They look like
really?
rubber fetish pants." And
If you said
I don't
I'm
really
going
care.
out in my rubber fetish pants,
yes.
Yeah, context is everything. Yes.
Yeah.
context
So,
is everything.
She's quite a
I
good
was
judge,
shamed
though.
I was shamed into taking them off. I said, I don't mind. I don't mind if. Well, I quite like that actually, but I don't mind that look. And Rachel said, I do. You can walk by yourself. So yeah.
And she's not even the most demanding of women, really. So if she says it, you must know you look like a bit of a cock.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think I probably used too much silicone lube on them. Probably.
Oh, that's taking me back
the shine was quite something.
Oh, I just take me back now to you lubricating in between your butt cheeks before that Greenwich run we did, which nearly killed us all. I've never seen so much Vaseline disappear and none of it come back in my entire life.
I'm still not sure where it went, actually. It's one of those mysteries, like a wormhole.
I'm still not sure it's went, but I've not been able to ride my bicycle since.
Oh dear. Sorry, Troy.
No, I can't believe I used the word homoerotic before this started.
Yeah, no, there's all sorts of stories we could tell.
Can you talk me through waterproof overshorts? I mean, because if you're gonna let 80% of your leg get wet, why? I mean, do you?
I don't know if it stacks up. I just like, as Oliver will know, I am a bit of a gadget freak, and I was on. So there's a running brand called OMM, which is I think it's one mountain marathon, and I like the whole ultra mountain fell running thing, and so I tend to buy their stuff, and it's very nicely made. I think they've got some supply issues because the website's always out of stock, but stuff comes up on eBay half price, and they had some of these.
Yeah.
They had some of these overshort things which they were 50% off, and I thought, you know what, I definitely can see the logic to those. But then, of course, when I run, after 3K, I'm covered in sweat anyway. So, well, yeah, I mean, maybe there's a bit of running fashion there. So those who are in the know will know OMM, and they go, oh, yes. I'll run by them. They see OMM, man. And they go, ultra runner.
Yeah, you always do look good, though, to be fair. But I think it's nice. I think we complement each other quite well. You look like you've got all the kit and know what you're doing, and I'm just your mate who is with you, and I like that. I'll play that part happily.
Can I ask a question? I know we're running on time here, but I would like to ask a question because I'm normally Mr. Gadget. I have eight snowboards. I will always gadget up to the max, except with running. I have zero running gadget, except obviously for the compression socks. But I bought those because I used to have a bit of a venous problem with one of my legs.
Well, that's a functional requirement, isn't it, really?
It is actually a functional requirement.
It's not for kid's sake.
What is the best running gadget you've ever bought?
I mean, have you? I'd say probably.
Jumbo
there aren't that many. There aren't that many. Yeah,
notwithstanding.
there aren't that many running gadgets. But I think there's a whole running watch world, and the useful thing about the running watches is that they can be quite motivating with the data they give you, and they show heart rate. And if you get into the 5 heart rate zones, they can be quite helpful for knowing whether you're running in aerobic heart rate mode or anaerobic heart rate mode or at threshold or whatever, and that can be quite useful. And I think that's kind of it, other than, latex running overshorts. Just nice running gear. If you've got your open run shocks and you've got your watch, I think the only other thing I'd say is read some running books if you haven't already. Read Born to Run and the 80/20 Matt Fitzgerald books, and there's only a few really. So not really gadgets, but sort of running accoutrements that sort of just useful to understand where the science of running is for most people.
I swear by my Garmin now. I wasn't going to go there, but Freddie got me this Garmin. It's absolutely, I'm going to be using it in a few minutes, actually. That OMM stuff looks absolutely great. OMM, brilliant, if hard to get hold of, kit. OMM. We're going to get some advertising. We've got we should probably wrap up, I guess, Andrew, wouldn't you say? I don't know.
I think we probably need to.
We'll have to have Troy back on again. He's over delivered, I would say. Troy,
and we didn't even talk about my microbiome manipulation.
No, we'll have to do that next time. But we should all be. I think what I've learned from this is that we should all be a little bit Andrew and decide which parts of our body we want to be dry and which we want to be wet, and then just cover the dry areas with.
Which we need to be well lubricated.
Yes. So Castrol GTX or
although
something like
lard works well. Nipple lube.
Oh yeah, got it. Well, I've got covers which worked really well the last time I went out in rain with cotton, and then I ripped them off, and of course I've got little hairy nipples, so it's freaking agony. But that's another tip. But anyway,
that's the whole podcast. That's the whole podcast.
Yeah,
there, just
yeah.
podcast
This
there.
will go on forever. We mustn't. Troy, any last thoughts before we close up?
No, this has been. I was a little bit anxious, and this has been an absolute joy. Thank you very much for inviting me.
It's just a chat down the pub with old mates. It was brilliant, Troy, man. As usual, your eloquence and communication skills came to the fore. So, Andrew, you normally have something wise to say at the end.
Well, I think I've said it. I think I really, which was, Runcations are wonderful, and also don't forget to run different places where you haven't run at home, because that's like a mini holiday.
Well said.
Is there a link? Is there a series of links underneath the podcast that we could click on to go to get the books that you mentioned?
Oh God, that sounds like a pain in the arse.
We should probably do that. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely should have. I think
So,
yeah.
Born
in the
to
show
Run
notes,
has
we should
got
have really.
20,000 5-star reviews on Amazon, so it's pretty easy to find. There's
Okay.
Born to Run,
Actually,
Born to Run 2.
Andrew,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but on Facebook, we do have a Facebook page which does have all the links on, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So not necessarily on Spotify and Apple or wherever you get your podcasts like YouTube, etc. But go onto our Facebook and give us some comments as well, and rate us on all the platforms that you get us on. But yes, like I said, Born to Run. But yeah, thanks. Any extra work you'd like to give me, Troy? Just,
No, that's fine. Go and run your 10K, and
I've got to go and
make
10K.
it under an hour.
Oh, I don't think I should aim for that, but whatever. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, my old friend Andrew. I'll see you possibly before that.
Yeah,
Have a
see you
wonderful,
sometime, Troy.
yeah,
Hopefully not too far in the future. Yeah, cheers.
have
Thank
a
you,
wonderful
gents.
running
Take
life.
care.
See you soon.
La 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 la.